Russ gets to drive a Ferrari.
Get out of town.
I'm not even joking.
Along these roads we roam, we find adventure through traveling, camping, boondocking, and exploring.
Hello everyone and welcome to episode number 23. My name is Russ.
And I'm Kerry.
And we are the roads we roam. We're full-time RVers living in our little guy Max. We do this vlog 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. On Saturdays we have a thing we call Faces and Places. Basically, we take the camera around with us all week and you get to see what we see. There are 2 opportunities to meet up with us live. That's every Friday night at 8 p.m. Eastern and every Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, those are a blast. So if you can make it, make it.
Definitely worth your while. We'd love to hear your live feedback and comments.
Yeah, it's nice to be able to talk to people too.
Well, it goes beyond just typical RV questions. I mean, it's open.
Yeah.
You know, ask anything, give comments, advice. We love it.
Yep, definitely.
Well, we are not in Hartsville, Tennessee.
Yes.
We are not. Now, we left a little bit later than planned, so we adjusted our plans a little bit. We are now in Manchester.
Yeah. We've been to Manchester before. I think actually our very first vlog
was from
episode
here.
001 was here, and I think we did 002 here as well.
I think so.
Yeah. So a little bit of a homecoming for 22.
Well, why don't you share why we adjusted our plans besides running a little bit later?
Yeah, definitely. We planned on going to Cabela's and boondocking at Cabela's. However, it's supposed to be very cold there. We still haven't figured out our heating issue with the propane. A lot of that is my fault because I haven't called little guy to get some direction because we've been fairly comfortable with plug-ins. So I take the blame for that. Fine. But anyways, we had been to Manchester before. It was on the way, and we needed a place to plug in so we could run our space heaters and keep warm, because I think it's supposed to be in the 20s or low 30s tonight.
Low 30s. So high of 44 today and tomorrow, low of 32. You know, we had been putting off the whole propane thing because we did have a solution, and then all of a sudden it dawned on me we had wanted to boondock in Chattanooga. Yeah. And it would get pretty cold. Now, I think we probably could have survived, but it would have been uncomfortable.
Yeah, so, I mean, it would have been comfortable under the covers, but Abby doesn't like to sleep up there with us, so I think she would have been cold. So it's all for Abby.
It's all for Abby. But yeah, so we had our daughter come into town.
Yep.
And we had a great evening last night with all the family.
And today we had a nice lunch at a Mexican restaurant.
So
speaking of what we did today, early this morning, we did a good deed.
That's right, we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so happy.
Yeah, so you'll see it in the Faces and Places video. I've got some video of it. We've had this cat.
We rented it yesterday.
Yeah, in yesterday's vlog, we've had this cat who has been coming to us. We made the mistake. I wouldn't really call it a mistake because the cat was obviously hungry, so we were feeding it, and it's getting cold, and we were really worried about him. We didn't want to leave him, out there at where we were staying because there really wasn't a whole lot of shelter or food. There wasn't
a lot of shelter, and we had started feeding. The temperatures were getting down to 16 degrees every night, and it heard me getting food ready for Abby and Billy.
So it knew what kibble was.
And it just started meowing and meowing, and when we got closer to it, this thing was so skinny. Yeah. And you could tell he has to be a large cat breed.
Yeah, I think he's Maine Coon.
Are massive.
Yeah, he's
But his
beautiful.
body was so skinny. He was all gray, long-haired. We found this local shelter. It's a no-kill shelter. Yep. We contacted them. They said, yeah, come ahead, bring him in.
Yep, they tested him for kitty leukemia and made sure he was nice. So he was nice, and he didn't have kitty leukemia, so he was adoptable. But you know what was funny is we caught him in a box because we were afraid that if we didn't get him then, we might not see him, because sometimes we don't see him for hours. And we wanted to get him a good home. So we bring him in, They opened the box, and man, it was shot out of a cannon. I wish I had my camera ready because he literally, it was kind of like a ping pong ball just bouncing around in there.
Everywhere. He went
On the desk, on the bookshelves, on the chair, into another room, off the walls, out over top of people. It was nuts.
But they said he did calm down, and the sweetest thing, so he will be available. They're going to fix him. He'll be available for adoption in about 10 days. From New Leash on Life.
Yep.
And their website is New Leash Online.
So we should put a link.
But they named him Tex because we are from Texas. So they said that to honor us for bringing him in, they named him Tex. And so I look forward to seeing him online, and I hope he gets a really great home.
So we ended up paying a intake fee of $40, which really isn't that bad. But Carrie and I felt that this place does such good work.
The people
in
there
rescuing
are fantastic.
These animals. We doubled that, just so they can take care of him or maybe take care of some other animal. Because I know sometimes they can't intake animals because they just don't have the money for it.
So here, I talked with them. The people there are just, they go above and beyond. They called me while we were on the road just to give me the update. They didn't have to. They didn't need to. So I asked them how we could help. And if you or anybody you know are looking for a way to support a great organization, they have an Amazon wish list online.
Yeah.
And you can just place your order there and it gets shipped directly to them. All the information's there. So if you're looking for something to do to help support a good cause, we recommend that.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on.
Yeah, definitely. If you want to make up for something bad you did, go there and take care of them.
I said moving on and he stayed on. Okay, so on to the topic of the day. Russ and I were kind of talking on the truck on the way down here what to talk about, and we kept coming around to this topic, and it's getting too comfortable.
Yeah.
And why don't you explain that?
Yeah, so when I say getting too comfortable, I was always antsy to leave, but what I mean about getting too comfortable is, one, your stuff starts to spread out more. It starts to move from where it's supposed to be in the trailer to maybe into the garage, and the same thing with the truck. The truck started getting
the pack-up
messy.
time took a little bit longer than
normal because we let our stuff spread out. But not only that, you start getting comfortable being rooted, and you start getting, I think where I was leading with this more was getting uncomfortable with the aspect of, man, I haven't backed this trailer in a long time. I haven't hitched this trailer up in a long time. I'm going to have to back it all the way down that driveway. I think I remember how to hook it up correctly. All those little things start to creep in, and you start to get this uneasy feeling of, man, when we were doing this every single day, there was none of that. And even when I took off in the truck, when we're heading down the road, I noticed I didn't give myself enough braking time the first time. Not obviously nothing that was, that I don't even think Carrie noticed, but
no, I didn't.
I noticed it in the field. I was like, "Ooh, boy, I gotta start, letting off the gas and hitting the brake a little bit earlier." So yeah, things like that.
Well, I'm thankful that yesterday's vlog, we kind of walked through verbally our pre-flight checklist.
Yeah.
Because somebody had asked about that, and it was a great reminder in our head because we had still, as Russ said, we got a little comfortable. It had been 3.5 weeks that we had been stationary, so we weren't in that everyday thing that we had been right at the beginning. And so today I noticed, even as I did the interior, I referred to the checklist a little bit more than what I would typically have done before we got to my father's house.
But like we said before, that checklist needs to be, there should be no deviation. It should always be the same. But we were comfortable moving and grooving too.
But by the time we got there, I would pretty much go through it all, and then I would refer to my checklist and say done, 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 done. And this time I pulled it out and said, oh yeah, I gotta do that.
When you get comfortable stuck somewhere, you might be uncomfortable when it comes time to leave. So, is there anything else that you can think of?
So, we had talked before, or I actually talked on the podcast with Vanda about how living the full-time nomadic lifestyle was a little bit easier for us to adapt to because we had been used to moving around so much, and we didn't have a home base with a lot of family around or anything. And for as long as we've been married, we've always lived away from our family. And it was just a very weird feeling being in a location where both
so
my sisters
close
were
with
there,
so much family,
and my father,
yeah,
and they were all right there.
yeah.
And then to suddenly think about leaving that, I felt a little sense of guilt.
I did too. Here's something that I got very comfortable with. There was the lack of noise. We're out in the middle of nowhere, far away from the highways. There's only a little 2-lane road that is, half a mile away from us. And now we've got a freeway just over from us, and I feel like I am in the middle of a racetrack. I can hear all that traffic. I'm thinking, oh my goodness, our viewers, our listeners, especially the podcast people, they're going to be hearing all this stuff. So I got comfortable with no noise.
And this was really nothing. When we lived in Texas, we had lived downtown before, right next to the central fire station, and we had learned to tune all that noise out. So when we came to places like this, it was nothing. And you're right. Now I just kind of hear the noise.
I didn't notice any traffic when we were here. I didn't, I was just kind of oblivious to it. So going back to our topic of, should we stay or should we go? For us, I think the answer was it was definitely time to go because we didn't buy the little guy Max to
stay stationary in someone's driveway
exactly.
for a while.
We bought it to explore and to see different sites, and I'm really excited about our next site here. We'll be down in Georgia for a little bit, and then on to Florida. I'm excited about that.
I'm so excited.
What's your number one thing you're looking forward to in Florida?
Sun. And temperatures over 65.
Well, I thought I saw a report this morning that in Hernando it was 33 degrees.
Well, then we keep going south, then we can tell your mom we'll be there later when the temperature goes back up.
I think it's probably headed back up. There's a cold snap that's kind of hitting the whole country right now.
I miss the ocean.
Yeah, I do too.
I love the ocean, either coast. But that was one thing with my work. Thankfully, I get to work coast to coast, so just getting my fix of seeing the ocean from time to time. And I haven't been for a little while, so this will be kind of nice.
We're going to get a lot of ocean here pretty soon. So our plan is to visit my mother in Hernando, Florida. We're going to spend Christmas there, but...
and I'm taking Russ to Disney World because he's never been.
Yeah, I've never been to any Disney's.
I'm going to make him wear the Mickey Mouse ears.
Oh, I'll do it.
We'll wear them.
But anyways... we're going to travel around Florida. I think the home base for several weeks will be Hernando, but we're going to go everywhere. I always wanted
to go to the Keys.
I've never been to the Keys.
Anybody has a place to recommend to stay, because I'm not sure how many campgrounds they have down there.
There's got to be a bunch.
I'm sure there are,
Florida,
but if anybody has one that they would recommend, I would really love that. We don't have any dates for it yet, but I know that we want to hit it sometime in January.
Yeah. Yeah, I would imagine there's all kinds of campgrounds down there in Florida, So not only just places to stay, but things to do down in the Keys. Restaurants. You've got to hit this restaurant.
Places,
Yeah.
And then we can share that with other people on our Faces and Places videos.
Yeah.
And take them through that, and we can see how many other stray animals will come up to our door.
Yeah. How do you rescue a manatee?
I will find a way.
Yeah, I know. So how about this, guys? If you recommend a place and Kerry and I go, we will give you a shout out in our Faces and Places video.
Okay.
Yeah?
That will work.
Definitely. So let us know.
So now moving into our comments and our questions and updates. Carl Van Ryzen asked us if we're going to travel to Oregon.
I think we're going through Oregon because we're on our way to Alaska.
We are. It probably will be in the springtime.
Yep.
So part of our plan of not staying put, should we stay or should we go, we're not going to be sitting as stationary as what we had been in Tennessee. We'll be moving around quite a bit now. So our plan, work our way through Florida and then start heading west and then up the coast.
And north.
So keep following us, and we're open for meet and greets and meetups, and we'd love to see people and talk to them and hear their stories and impart their wisdom onto us.
Yeah, Carl, if you have any ideas on where we should go in Oregon, or if you want to meet up or something, let us know. We would much appreciate some info, some inside info.
We have a really cool experience that we have waiting for us in Oregon. Russ doesn't even know this yet. But when we get through Oregon, Russ gets to drive a Ferrari.
Get out of town.
I'm not even joking. Yes.
Do I really? You set that up?
Yeah, I set that up.
Vroom, vroom.
So I have a friend who owns a Ferrari, and he works at Ferrari dealerships and whatnot, and he has a chromed out, beautiful.
So I get to drive that?
And we will get, don't wreck it, please.
Oh, yeah.
But that'll be a really cool experience.
Doesn't he also own a couple Ducatis?
He does.
Maybe
number one Ducati dealership in the world. But so that will be something to look forward to for sure.
Oh, you shouldn't have told me. You should have left it as a surprise and had the video cameras going. I would have flipped out. I'm ready to flip out right now.
Well, he's a local Hawaii boy. So
I know that's got to be why. Hey, speaking of that, Carl, I think Carl is from Hawaii or spent time in Hawaii. I forget. He made some comments before, so. My whole hand was like this because I was getting ready to do Shaka Rock. So, yeah, that's cool, man. I'm looking forward to it. Carl, let me know if you're from Hawaii. I think you are, or you spent time there.
All right, so enough about us.
Man, a Ferrari. Are you kidding me?
I'm not kidding you.
Wow, the closest I've ever driven to a Ferrari.
He's not going to let this go. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry.
Was a Fiero. A Pontiac Fiero. It wasn't even red. It was gold.
We've got a while to go.
Man, we need to start moving towards Oregon. We might be there a little earlier, Carl, like in a week.
No. All right. So this doesn't have to do with little guy, but it can. Mm-hmm. Lance Campers has unveiled something called the Ultra Glow Step. They're self-illuminating steps for RVs, and they're compatible with all RV towables.
Yeah.
And it's a really cool system that you can replace, and we've had a couple people on the LGM forums talk about, extra steps. Sometimes it's a little high, especially when you have the Rough Rider. Mm-hmm. Well, not only will this come down, it's got self-leveler legs that come down on the bottom, and they can extend 7 inches.
I get to drive a Ferrari.
Yes. Yeah. The other cool thing about it is it's got this glowable material on it that with only 5 minutes exposure of sunlight, it glows for 10 hours.
Wow.
So at night it uses no electricity, and so you can just swap out your steps.
Is there a way to cover it? What if you're trying to be all stealth and stuff and you're driving through Nevada and you're glowing for the next 200 years?
It folds up when you're not using it, so you wouldn't see the glow.
I can see some issues there.
Look what I live with, people. Okay. So that's all I had for today. We're just excited. We're on the road again.
Yes. I think you can even feel the electricity in the air. Can you feel it?
Yes.
I can feel it.
Adventure.
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
adventure time, adult style.
So, hey, if you guys want to give us some comments, some tips, if you've got some concerns, if you want to impart some of your wisdom.
We're heading through Atlanta, so send us some ideas of places that we can stop and highlight on our faces and places coming up.
Definitely. And how can they get a hold of us, Carrie?
They can get a hold of us on our site at theroadsweroam.com.
Yep.
You can go to our contact page and you can email us directly from there. Mm-hmm. You can also get a hold of us on Facebook, Twitter,
right,
Pinterest, and Instagram. And I had to keep looking at him because my brain was freezing. We forgot to do that last night.
Well, we were in a hurry to go see our daughter.
Yes.
So it was like, pack up, we're out.
Yes.
So if you notice, I even forgot during the editing, I didn't put a little, usually I put a little prequel of what you're going to see in the video. That didn't happen because, again, I was trying to edit and go, gotta go see our girl.
Well, we hadn't seen her since March, so it had been a while.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Thank you so much. I hope you have a great evening. Talk to you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.
Bye.